Scrappy people, it's Tracy Reed here today, coming at you with a pocket spread. This is a recent trip that Patrick and I took to a place called Fall Creek Falls. It's a state park in Tennessee, and we went on a motorcycle ride and did a little hike, and I have a bunch of nice photos from that, so I thought I would make them a 2-page spread. I'm using a cut down 12 by 12 pocket page. I cut it down to 9 by 12, and so that is this one on the left here with the three 4 by 6s top to bottom, and then the three 3 by 4s top to bottom. And I'm using the Cocoa Daisy, mostly, not completely, but mostly the Cocoa Daisy Lemon Grove kit. That red card and the green card are both Pink Fresh Studio. I added to this collection because they were appropriate for the sentiment and the theme of the page. So I'm kind of going through all of these came in the classified kits for the Cocoa Daisy Lemon Grove kits, or actually I think they came in they might have come in the Lemon Grove. I think they did. They might have come in the next one. No, I'm pretty sure they came in the Lemon Grove. But anyway, I'm pulling them out because there's some pink in them, and I thought it might match that red card, but I decided to just let that red card do its thing all by itself, and I'm wearing red, so that was enough red in the spread to tie it in for me. Everything else is going to be green, yellow, and blue, and a little bit of orange. I'm looking through all of the different embellishments that we've got going on here. I've pulled out already things that I thought might work. So I'm not going through everything in all of the kits, especially since because I take the Cocoa Daisy photos, I obviously have so much for each kit, and it's lovely and I adore it, but I do have to go through everything before I start these videos, otherwise I would have a lot to cut out. So you can see me working with that clear sticker, and I wanted to add it to this yellow doily, but I decided that it was just too much yellow on yellow, and I am going to come back to that sticker and I am going to use it, but I'm not going to use it on that yellow doily, but I will try a few more times to make it work. So I haven't pulled out any of these photos yet, so I'm pulling them out and trimming down the border around the edges. I could have left the border, but I decided I wanted to mat these photos. So I trimmed down the border, which made them just slightly smaller than a 4x6, so I can go in and mat the photos after I do it towards the end. I still want to use that There's Sunshine in My Soul today. I'm trying real hard to make it work, and I will make it work, but not there. Trying to see what I can put there. I love that yellow doily and the placement of it on that photo because it kind of looks like the sun. And I try a few times, or I attempt a few times to cover it up, not cover it up completely, but you know, layer on top of it, and I end up leaving it just basically a big yellow sun on the photo, and I kind of love the way that ended up. I added Fall Creek Falls State Park to this photo of Patrick. I'm going to add this little green arrow pointing downwards. There we go. So I'm just kind of working, I'm not necessarily working one photo at a time, but I am kind of methodically going through and doing a little bit more of a thought process towards one photo at a time than I normally do because I've left them in the pockets, so it's just easier to do one at a time. So I backed this in white. I decided that that's what needed to happen, and then I tried to put it on here again, but the ratio of the size of the sticker to that yellow doily was just too much for me, so I decided instead to put it on this photo of Patrick and I. There's a lot of green empty space there that I didn't feel bad covering up, so it was a perfect photo to put that on. I'm going to cover up this lemon with this little heart, rubber heart that came in the kits. I like the lemons, they're adorable, but they didn't really match what I had going on here. And of course I mess up my ATG. Just going to add that outdoor adventure there, and I'm going to add a few places to journal on this layout, not just that one card. There's a couple of stories I want to tell. Mainly, if you look at that photo at the top there of Patrick and I, the selfie, Patrick is making a mean face because Patrick is fairly afraid of heights. I mean, it's not a phobia, but he doesn't like heights. And it seems like we are always going on adventures where I'm making him confront his fear of heights. So we've been on the top of the Arch in St. Louis. We've been in the Sun Sphere in Knoxville. We've done a lot of things where he has to be up high. Grandfather Mountain has a suspension bridge, and there was a suspension bridge here at Fall Creek Falls as well. So I have this collection of photos building of Patrick making mean faces when we're up high on top of things. So it's quite hilarious, and I want to tell that story. I'm going to add that little leaf here that says go outside, I think. Let's go outside, to this one right here. That is a picture of the waterfall itself. I really wanted to use that let's go outside, but I felt like it had like this weird empty space on the left-hand side there. So I'm actually going to put this little paper clip here, and then I'm going to stick the charm itself down so that it stays where I want it to stay, and it creates this cute little yellow dot that fills up that space nicely, just something a little bit different. So I have a few more die cuts over here, trying to incorporate some geotags in, but I did not. I'm going to grab some of these washi strips off of this sticker sheet, and I'm going to add it to the right hand side of this photo here, just as like an alternative to a mat or something else. And I'm going to add a little place on top of this to journal. Cutting this one in half, well not in half, pretty much in cutting off a third of it to make it just a bit thinner. I didn't want to cover up too much of that tree. I did like the way that it looked over there. So now I have like a little cute little border somewhere to add some embellishment to, and I'm going to add like a little label. Kid hand, kid mess. I scrapbook in my office, which is in the, we have a really large living room, so it's at one end of the living room, and so I'm always getting visitors while I'm scrapbooking, and I like it that way. So I'm going to add that little favorite, and I'm going to add one of these labels that came in the kit. I love how many labels came in these kits. Some of them have silver foil, which is really cool too. Okay, now I have a spot to journal there. I'm going to add something to this photo. I cannot leave any photos alone, so there's always got to be something. I'm going to add this little arrow, which kind of points to Patrick's silly face, and I'm going to add LOL, just so that someone down the line is looking at this and doesn't think that he's actually mad at me, although he might have been actually mad at me, but not in a mean way. Oh, LMAO, not LOL. There we go. Switching things around a little bit. I have two pictures of Patrick's back next to each other now, which I don't know that I love. I'm not sure that I move it around though, but you know, pocket scrapbooking, it's always easy to go back and change things too. There's a few word strips on here that I'm going to add to that photo of the waterfall on the right hand side. I added a little label here, and then I realized that I never wrote anything on it, so I go back at the end and write on it, although it didn't really need something to be written on it. I just did because it was a weird blank label. So I'm going to grab a couple word strips to go on here. Just a few word confetti. Like I said before, I love words, so I always have lots of them on my spreads. Thought about putting it on this label here, but I felt like it was too big and also disproportionate to the word strips, so I'm just going to put them directly on the photo instead. Cute. Cascading word strips like cascading water. I did not think about it that way while I was doing it, but now that I'm looking back at it, that's exactly what happened. I added this little charm, and now I'm going to back all of these 4x6 photos in 4x6 paper. I'm going to use some of these, or I'm going to use one of these journaling cards. Then I'm just going to cut up some papers from the kits. I wanted to bring in a little bit more blue to these backgrounds because I had a lot of, like I had a few blue embellishments, but it didn't feel like blue was represented enough in the layout. So I'm grabbing papers that I think will make good backgrounds. I need to find a blue one. Oh, I decided to incorporate some of this orange too because I felt like it would complement the red a little bit. Just bring another warmer tone in there without it being too overwhelming, especially since there was no really orange embellishments used. Because actually orange is kind of an afterthought in this kit. It's not really one of the kit colors. It's just kind of like a little flare. So had to work around that. There we go. I'm going to add a pop dot to the back of that charm to make it stay where I want it to stay. It was difficult because I tried to use liquid glue, so the pop dot was flying around. But the pop dot was perfect because it needed to be lifted off of that photo in order to be secure anyway. So I don't know what I was thinking with the glue. It wasn't going to stick there. Right now I'm just trying to distribute the colors evenly, working my way around the spread. Decided to put some blue right here in the middle of this side. And then I'm going to put this lime green down here because that dark green card was kind of distracting from the other lime green colors in the spread, so I wanted to make sure that I represented some lime green. So I was putting away the layout because I was done, and I decided that I was going to add some labels to this card to tell the story of Patrick's distaste for heights. So I'm just kind of adding some things here and there to embellish the card. Then I will add in all my journaling there and on the other card, and I think I will call this one good. There we go. So if you enjoyed this video, I'd love it if you give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, go ahead and subscribe. I'd love to have you, and I will see you next time. All right, thank you.